The Objective News Network, the Trump indictment, a different perspective. On April 4th, 2023, former President Donald Trump was arrested and fingerprinted in New York City on his yet unspecified charges that he committed 34 acts of felonious business fraud under the laws of the state of New York. The people of the state of New York allege that Donald J. Trump repeatedly and fraudulently falsified New York business records to conceal crimes that hid damaging information from the voting public during the 2016 presidential election, said District Attorney for New York City Bragg. On the other side of the spectrum, we see statements from many others that the charges against Donald Trump are, to intentionally use the pun, trumped up, with a capital T standing for Trump. As you can see, a highly polarized environment where the politics of the story simply cannot be denied. To make a little bit of objective sense of it all, maybe history can give us some badly needed perspective. The first question anyone might ask is, why weren't other presidents of the United States indicted for doing the same thing or worse that the District Attorney of New York is alleging that Donald Trump did? Here's an interesting story from the National Public Radio talking about how close former President Nixon came to legal action against him after the famous Watergate scandal of the 1970s. So, what's different today than in the past? Well, on September 8, 1974, President Gerald Ford pardoned Richard Nixon for any crimes that he may have committed against the United States. Many believe that his decision to pardon Nixon cost him the presidential election in 1976. But why did Gerald Ford do it? Former President Ford justified his decision by claiming that a long, drawn-out trial would have only further polarized the American people. But the reasons were much deeper than that. Gerald Ford certainly knew about some of the extended order effects that a long and drawn-out trial of Nixon would have had both at home and on the global stage. This is a classic example of why the founders and authors of our Constitution granted occupants of the office of the President of the United States the power of the pardon. So Gerald Ford, being a wise and virtuous leader, did what was best for his country, even though he knew it would likely cost him the presidency in the 1976 election. So, maybe what we all need to do is ask ourselves the question, is what we are doing to a former president who occupied the office of the President of the United States of America good for our country? Would a wise and virtuous leader like former President Gerald Ford agree with what's happening today? It is what it is for April 7th, 2023. This is John Hnatio reporting for the Objective News Network. We at ONN are here to give you a different perspective on the news stories of the day. Please tell your family, friends, and colleagues about us and subscribe. Thank you for watching. We look forward to seeing you the next time.